And we are live. What is up, everybody? Let me fix that. There we go. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog here with a breakdown number one of the week. We got the Bellator 290 breakdown here live on Saturday at 6 p.m. So, right before the UFC goes live, Bellator will be live. It is on the main card's on CBS. At least the three of the fights are. Should be a good card though. So far, 14 fights. I am recording this a little bit early on Tuesday, so hopefully these fights stay together. But Bo Jackson here going to be a cracker pump for this belly as well. I think I think a lot of people are going to catch on if they haven't already with this week that this is the better card of the week. So should be an interesting one. Quite a few dogs I've been interested in as I've been tracking this one. So should be interesting. Let's go ahead and get started. We're at the 170 division to start. Bout order probably will change, but right now, and this should be the beginning bout, Ethan Hughes taking on Yusuf Karakaya, a 1-0 fighter out of Istanbul. Also has fought with Tiger Muay Thai in Muay Thai as well. So has some experience in combat sports, not so much at the very top. But taking on Ethan Hughes, it's been off for a while now. Hughes, he had a fight scheduled that got withdrawn, beat Mohamed Sebi back when that was a little more impressive. Beat him down in the third round. Looked good throughout it. Has finished all three of his opponents so far. Only 21 years old out of Gracie United Amite. A little bit smaller at 5'9", but so far hasn't really affected him. Yusuf Karakaya looks like a specimen. I'll be honest. Looks very, very physical. Sebi also was physical, but did gas. Karakaya's only MMA fight. Put his opponent away in the first round early. This is one that I definitely could see the upset, but I am going to go with the known commodity of Ethan Hughes in this spot. I have no interest in betting it. However, Ethan Hughes did open at he opened at minus 300, now at plus 130. Now he is a minus 150 favorite. So we're at the up and down point. Probably going to be pretty close on the line. I would not bet it. Hughes, I will take in second or third round to put him away, just based on the experience there. Yusuf does look like the bigger guy. Looks like he could possibly gas, but we don't know yet because he's done pretty well. Next fight is a decent fight at the featherweight division here. It's Isaiah Hokit taking on Peter Ishiguro. Should be an interesting fight. Hokit, one of these guys who definitely came in and had a rough debut against Mr. Corey Samuels, got dropped by a left in that fight. Always going to be in the back of my head, I'll be honest. But take on Peter Ishiguro. Peter has been off for a while. Wasabi Pete has been off for quite a while. Got put away by Cass Bell back in 2019 with the knees. A really good finish there. And then came back against an 0-1 Elias Anderson in September. And he won his fight. It was a 140 catch weight, moving up to 145 here. Pretty untested so far in his career. 0-0, 0-1 wins. Cass Bell put him away in the second round. Controlled most of that fight. Hokit, the wrestler here. I just think that out of Fresno State, fighting on California home gym, team Body Shop MMA, but he's been around as well, training 3 fights in Bellator, 2 straight wins, 2 straight finishes. I think that he does a similar type of thing here against Ishiguro. Nader was definitely questionable what was up with him and Makutika, but he's doing what he needs to do. I think he gets his 3rd straight finish here and puts him away with the ground and pound. So looking at the odds, minus 600, I believe. Isaiah Hokit was, at last I checked, he opened at minus 500, minus 600. Ishiguro plus 400. I don't love parlaying a minus 600, but Hokit is winning this fight. I mean, I'm not sure what Ishiguro is doing coming back here and how he's going to planning to win this one. So, yeah, I would say Hokit is a parlayable piece, but I don't love the price. Minus 600. Jalen Bates versus Jornel Lugo. If you know anything about me, you know that I love me some Jalen Bates. I also really like Jornel Lugo. I actually picked him against Danny Sabatello. Really good competitive fight there. A loss that I think in a lot of ways will end up being a win for Lugo. I don't think he was quite ready for that level, and at the same point made a good showing of himself. But 8-1, A1, good nickname for him, Mr. Lugo, still 27 years old out of Miami, Florida here. So definitely known for the jiu-jitsu, but pretty well-rounded guy, decent on the feet as well. I think that the scrambles could keep this one on the feet, and it might be who has more success on the feet who wins this fight, because Jalen Bates is no joke in the wrestling, no joke in the grappling. Both these guys are very, very good in that department. The wins over Brian Moore, Cass Bell, Keith Lee. So very, very solid wins within Bellator as well. Was competitive with Danny Sabatello. They were supposed to square it up back in November. Not sure exactly what caused the pullout there, but what up, Moise? But either way, I think this is a great fight. Pretty rough for Lugo going from the main card to third from the bottom. And Jalen Bates also third from the bottom, being a little bit punished here in some ways, but 5'10", the 74-inch reach, really nice. 15 straight wins going back to his amateur career. Everybody he's been in there with, he's had success in his entire career. Last couple of fights, he's had some moments. The Chris Dissanel fight, had to come back from some adversity for sure in that one, but got the finish leading the third round. The Mark Coates fight, Mark Coates has been there with a lot of good guys. Some argue he won it, but a fight where I like when you learn your lessons and you can win the fights as well. Jeffrey Glossner fight, a really nice finish there. He just has really, really smooth jiu-jitsu, good scrambles. I'd be interested to see who has success there. I would think Lugo would get on top and be successful there. I get that Lugo is a favorite. I think this price is way off. I did wager a bet on the plus 310 Jalen Bates here. I just don't agree with that line. I think this is a very competitive fight. Another thing I will be interested in is how Lugo responds to this kind of overcorrection with putting him this far in the prelims. First loss in his career. These guys really match up well. Jalen Bates, also only 26 years old, so 26 and 27. Jalen Bates out of Corona, California, going to have the crowd on his side, not going to have to be traveling as far. So it's an interesting one for sure. I think it's much closer than the odds indicate. It is one of my, if not my fight of the night. I just don't agree that that Lugo is a minus 500 favorite, plus 300, plus 325 on Lugo. I got him at plus 310. I like all of the above. I understand Lugo, but, this is really good matchmaking. Agreed throughout this card, including this fight. And I mean, I'm just seeing a minus 500 on Lugo. I think it's a little bit out there for Bates, who I think people are a little bit too far down for his last couple performances, being a little bit lower than expected, but he's still getting the win. So I like Jalen Bates in this spot. I think that the submission could definitely be live. He's very, very good on the feet as well. I think he could use that distance and maybe control a little bit of Lugo. So maybe it's wishful thinking, but I got Jalen Bates plus 310. Next fight, another good fight at bantamweight. Darian Caldwell versus Nikita Mikhailov. Russia versus USA. Two good guys here for sure. Bellator is on sale. They want to attract guys with good quality. Well, let's take advantage. It's going to be, a little tougher to maybe get those big, payouts, but still, I think there's plenty of spots here. But this is a really good prelim fight. Could easily be on the main card. 9-2, 14-6. Caldwell, the Wolf, now 35 years old at Deerfield Beach, Killcliff FC. 5'10", 73-inch reach, 3-inch reach advantage on Nikita here. Nikita still Stary Oskol, Russia, Alexander Nevsky's camp, 24 years old only, and a ton of good experience so far. Did come off a loss to Enrique Barzola. Barzola definitely took an approach I could see Darren Caldwell having a lot of success with. Before that, the Blaine Shutt and Brian Moore fight's very good. A lot of people getting wins over Brian Moore, unfortunately. A guy who I really do like. The Emelianenko fight over with Fight Nights Global, also very, very close. So Mikhailov, sometimes just not quite having the volume and activity I want out of him, allows his opponents to get a little bit too much of their game plan. I think Darren Caldwell could have a lot of success with that in this fight here. 35 years old, North Carolina State, now fighting out of Deerfield Beach, as I said, with Killcliff. He's a wrestler, man. Last 3 fights, close one with Hugo. I think this kid's going to look pretty similar to that fight. Hugo, very, very experienced, and I think that just gritted it out there. But the McKee fight, I kind of throw that away. The Barzola fight, Barzola looked really impressive and did break down Caldwell. And I just don't know if Caldwell has it in him to be able to keep that pace he once did as well at 35. I think the cuts take a lot out of him. I think that he's been in some, wars as well, but I think it's more the weight cut at this point. I think Caldwell is going to have success early. Nikita has success late. We're in for another split decision. I think judges have really been starting to not reward position. And I think that Nikita is going to edge this one out. I think a split play could definitely be in order here. I think that Nikita is just going to barely get this one, but I think a lot of top control from Darren Caldwell. I just don't trust him to finish or to be able to maintain it for 15. So I'm going to go with Nikita in this spot, but Caldwell, a very live dog as well. But Nikita minus 160. I think that, I got you, Zhongli. Plus 120 on Caldwell. I like the spot for Nikita, just straight up can play it. I do think he can finish late as well. I think that the decision could be in order as well. So should be a good fight, but Nikita is my pick there. Caldwell, I just think it's slowing down a little bit too much, but I think it's a very close fight. Should be a good one. Next fight, Alejandra Lee versus Diana Avsaragova. Diana versus Alejandra here at flyweight. Decent flyweight fight. I believe the only female fight on the card. Not bad, but it's pretty clear how to beat Alejandra, and it's take her to the grappling, take her to wrestling. Danielle Bennett was able to do it. Obviously, Akamura was able to do it as well. Watanabe, I'm sorry, was able to do it as well. And then Joan in the last fight. So the win over Vida Ortega, very, very good. Obviously her best win of her career. Other than that, has just put on some good fights. She's got some good stand-up when she's able to keep it there, but has been a little bit exposed for where her game is weaker. I think Hana Watanabe beat it pretty clearly, as did Bennett. I think Avsaragova is putting on more fights on the feet lately, trying to expand that part of her game. Saw it against Gabriela Golfin, almost cost her in that one. Got a split decision there. Came back against Kyra Batara. Girl, she should be finishing. She's not. That's my big concern here, is she going to go to where she can win this fight, which is on the ground. She had that knockout of Tara Pagano a few fights ago, but other than that, she hasn't shown that advancement in the stand-up. She needs to go to the grappling here. I think she will. If she doesn't get Lara down, though, however, Lara takes over this fight and I think wins it pretty decisively on the feet. I think a lot of people are going to be down on Lara coming into this fight, counting her out. I think that Diana, there's just kind of levels to this. For me, I think that Lara has been focusing on one aspect only. I think Lara comes back here, gets the win, currently is a slight underdog at plus 105 as well. Kyra was too advanced in the BJJ, Moy says. Something like that. I just think Diana is, kind of reaching her ceiling of when she's going to get that first loss. 24 years old, not the end of the world if she loses here to Lara. Lara has a lot of experience coming into this, albeit losses in the last few. I just don't think Diana gets to sit ground and on the feet. Stop deforestation. Amazon. Yeah, save the Amazon, please. Should be a good fight. Plus 100, not running to the window to bet Lara, though, but should be a good one. Next fight, 205, first 205 of the night, and it's a good one. Maybe the only 205 of the night. Grant Neal, Carl Albertson. Really, really good matchmaking again here. Carl Albertson really cost me last time out. I trusted him against Irish Carl. Irish Carl looks like he has not been missing his medicine, his vitamins as he took that time off. And what are you going to do? But Albertson still, very, very good. Tons of really good experience, good wrestler. 13-4 now, still only 29 years old. Taking on Grant the Truth Neal, 27 years old here at Genesis Training Academy. 5'11", 74-inch reach, only a 1.5-inch reach disadvantage here, even though it's a 4-inch reach difference in the height. Also, Carl's going to be looking to get this fight in close, push to grappling, push to wrestling for sure. Carl Moore was able to withstand that and got the rear naked choke there in the second round. But before that, I was on a nice tidy 4-fight win streak. The last win coming against Olvidson in Bellator. Beat Victor Nemkov over in Bellator as well with some Spirit Challenge fights in between. Just something some of these guys in Europe do. Had a competitive fight with Phil Davis, but gave up the back and got put away. That really does seem to be the key with Carl is he's a good hammer. When he becomes the nail, he struggles quite a bit though. And, he's going to a decision with good guys in Victor Nemkov and Doviltsan, but not putting him away. The game plan coming in, and in 3 of his 4 losses, he has been put away himself. Grant Neal, 7-1, coming off a really good performance against Christian Edwards, showing that he was able to rebound from his first and only loss of his career. Alex Polizzi, really close fight there. Scrambles galore in that one from Polizzi, just edged it out, but Grant was having some good success, put Polizzi in some bad spots, really good stand-up fighter, good on the ground as well, well-rounded, keeps a good pace as well. That I think is where this one's very key. I think that Albertson might have the early success, but honestly, I think that Grant Neal is going to put his hands on Albertson. I think in the dirty boxing, Grant Neal has some advantages. I just questioned Carl Albertson a little bit. My confidence in him definitely shaken after the last fight as well. So maybe that's playing into this a little bit here. But this is another slight dog I do like in Grant Neal. I just think he is improving a lot right now. I think he has good enough wrestling, good low center of gravity as well. I think that his lack of height here could be an advantage because Carl's going to have to really kind of be going into kind of some awkward body locks to try to get this fight down to the ground. And even if he does have success early, once his opponent starts to fight back, how does he respond? So far, I haven't been super impressed by what I've been seeing in that realm. I know Carl has some good fights. The Yuri Prokoska fight, really good fight, but he did lose that fight. The Phil Davis fight, good fight, but he lost it. I get it. That Neal is not quite on that level yet, but really showed me a lot in that Christian Edwards fight. I get it's Christian Edwards, but still put it together for 15 minutes. So I am going to go with Grant Neal plus 105, another slight dog for me on this card. We shall see. But I think it's a very good fight. Carl Albertson, a guy who I really had been enjoying relying on as well. So we'll see if I'm overcorrecting here. But next fight, 155, Chris Gonzalez versus Max Roschkov, the guy who quit that fight. Close fight, Bo Jackson. Are you saying for the Carl fight or Carl Neal fight or for the Gonzalez fight? Because I don't think this one's too close. But maybe I'll be wrong. Max Roschkov, he's rebounded well since quitting on the stool, obviously, in his one and only UFC fight. Former wrestler, very, very highly touted, 28 years old still, trains with Robert Drysdale. It's had 3 straight fights canceled in 2022. Roschkov wasn't cleared in his last fight, which you definitely don't like to see. Yeah, unfortunately, Sanchez withdrew from one of them. He withdrew from the other, so one wasn't his fault. Last two fights coming against Jordan Bailey and Jeff Creighton. Ground and pound in the first one. Second one showed he could go longer than 5 minutes. Went to the decision. I think he definitely wanted to show himself that. Oh, yeah, Bo Jackson. Gotcha. Yeah, I got Grant Neal just by a smidge. You know what Roschkov's going to come in and do? He's going to try and get this fight to the ground. I think try and get the sub early. I think as this fight gets extended, it's going to be tough for him against Chris Gonzalez here at Team Alpha Male, 31 years old. He's been put away by a front choke against Usman Magomedov and got put away against Goti Yamauchi by a real clean shot on the feet and then ground and pound. So also Gonzalez had a clean head kick in there against Syed Awad, showing the improvements in the stand-up. But, a split decision against Aaron McKenzie, split decision against Vladimir Tokov. Against Roger Huerta, took him into the third round. I do think that he has a huge advantage when it comes to the cardio and the pace, though. And just overall, he's much more well-rounded. He's got to keep it, the ground is going to be, real dangerous in the first 7 minutes. But Max, even though he went to a decision his last one, I do think it's in the back of his head still. Chris Gonzalez has faced a much better level of competition, Bellator experience. Chris Gonzalez is one of my favorites on the prelims at minus 185 as well. I like the price. So give me Chris Gonzalez in the spot here. I think that he just kind of exposes a little bit of the issues in Max's game. But if Max has learned how to pace himself, this could really be a coming out fight for him. A big win against Chris Gonzalez would lead him. But I don't like that he wasn't medically cleared his last time out. I'm a little worried about the weight cut still. And yeah, it's just like 3 straight pullouts. He's, got to get back in there and show it to me before I can side with him. So going to the heavyweight division, I believe the only heavyweight fight of the night, Big Steve Mowry versus Ali Isaev here, formerly of the PFL and World Series of Fighting. Good fight again. Well matched up here. Big Steve, very good jiu-jitsu game for sure. Just let me know if anybody's having trouble hearing me. But yeah, good jiu-jitsu game, decent in the stand-up, relatively untested. Ali Isaev has been pulled out of his last 5 or 6 fights. He's 39 years old. I'm going to cover this fight slightly, but I kind of don't want to cover it too heavily because I'm not sure it's going to happen, man. I'll be honest. I hate to say it, but 1, 2, 3, 4 straight fights he's pulled out of, going back to 2021. Hasn't fought since 2019. His fight with Jared Roschkov looked like he should be done there. Who knows what you're getting out of him coming back here, if you're getting anything out of him. Yeah, this is Gracie as Gracie. Glad the audio, thank you, is good. See, Mowry, the best thing I can say about him, other than that he's very tall at 6'8", 30 years old, in Hard Knocks 365 Good Camp, is that he didn't lose to Moldavsky because he claimed an eye poke 54 seconds into the fight. He wanted nothing to do with Valentin in that fight. Definitely just makes me overall question his confidence. The guys he's beat have been Siricom, Sean Teed, Sean Asher, Rakeem Cleveland. And don't let Sean Asher's 13-3 record fool you. Sean Asher was a 205er who was retired coming into that fight. So what I'm saying here is that don't trust either one of these guys. Steve will be my pick, but I don't think this fight's going to happen, and I don't know if Steve has, quote-unquote, that dog in him. So Isaev might just land a overhand right and lay on him or knock him out right there. I mean, I can't trust Steve. I can't trust Isaev to show up. This is greasy if it does happen. Plus 115 on Steve Mowry, sure. Minus 150 on Isaev. I wouldn't even bet that he makes the fight at minus 150. I'll be honest. So let's move on to an actual fight that I think will happen. Henry Corrales, Ahmed Magomedov here at 145 pounds. Ahmed Magomedov made a very impressive debut against Kevin Bohm. I get it, not the highest level of competition, but put him away in about a minute. That squeeze is real. Very, seems to be very put together, well-rounded as well. Dagestan, only 26 years old, taking on the 36-year-old Henry Corrales. 10 straight wins. Debut in Bellator against Kevin Bohm, did very well. Ilyar Askanova over with Brave CF. Really good fight, high level of opponents. Decision there as well. Very well rounded. Has put away several of his opponents with the submission here, the quick submission in his debut as well. Decent on the feet as well, but why would he mess with that against Henry Corrales, a fighter who does give up his feet quite a bit. He also, has very, very good stand-up. I'll give him that. I was surprised he's 3-1 in his last 4, 20-6 overall, fight ready. Camp here, the Johnny Campbell fight, though, really kind of tells you what you need to know. When Johnny Campbell is able to get the back and take it the way that Corrales has, and many others, Corrales has given up his back, but survived against others, but given up his neck to Patricio Pitbull, given up his neck to Daniel Strauss, gave up his back quite a bit to Archuleta and Caldwell as well. Johnny Campbell put him away. Magomedov, I think there's just levels to this game. I think Magomedov is the real deal at 145, and I think he puts away Henry Corrales by submission. I agree with you, Moise. Minus 450 overall, get the submission, and probably gets it close to even money. So I do like Ahmed Magomedov in this spot, but Vladislav Perichenko and Aiden Lee in the last couple for Morales, get good wins and still putting it together. Should be an interesting fight, but I do like Magomedov. I think he's a real deal, and I like him by submission. Next fight is a rematch of a fight that did not go very long. Lorenz Larkin versus Muhammad Burkhmanov here. This fight, it's interesting because Muhammad just kind of gave up in the fight. It was kind of weird. It was a back of the head shot, but didn't seem like a hard shot by Lorenz Larkin. And it did seem like he was having a hard time getting Lorenz to the ground. And clearly that's the key in this fight. If Lorenz Larkin keeps this on the feet against Burkhmanov, I think he's putting him away. And I know Burkhmanov has never been put away by strikes, but was rocked pretty well in his fight with Gerald Harris. He was able to recover from that, put away Gerald Harris later in the fight, but still not. I'm sorry, not Gerald Harris. With Jaleel Willis, I apologize. Was able to withstand it, put him away in the first round. Still, he's got high quality, stand up for sure. Good ground game. He's well rounded everywhere. But I think Larkin, gave him some scares on the feet and with his takedown defense. I think his takedown defense is going to be there. I think the cut to 170, it's been pretty good for Larkin as well. So as long as Larkin, I think, can keep his back off the cage, I think he could have some really good success. 3 minutes into the fight last time. So, and Burkhmanov was able to get close to him and get it in on the legs. I think that's the real key here. 36 years old for Larkin also worries me a lot. Here, I just don't think that Burkhmanov is going to play his game. I think Burkhmanov is crafty, gets us to the ground in at least 2 to 3 rounds. I'm going to say that Burkhmanov avoids it, gets the decision, pretty lowly decision. Minus 250, plus 180 on Larkin. I don't mind a shot on Larkin if you're taking it. I really don't. Because I do think Muhammad could, have some trouble getting into the ground and on the feet. It's not close. And I do think Larkin can keep a good pace. If this is 15 minutes on the feet, Larkin can win a decision even, which I know would seem unlikely. But I just think Muhammad, like Moise says, even I know the monsoon can crack. So is Muhammad here. So I think Muhammad by decision, but I really want to take Larkin, and I'm going to feel dumb when he knocks out Burkhmanov because I wanted to do it, and I just couldn't. So This is the featured prelim now. There's only 3 fights on the main card because it's on CBS, I assume. So they're like, we'll take whatever you give us, boss. But Dante Skiro taking on Neiman Gracie. Neiman Gracie getting a short notice replacement in Skiro here. Skiro was submitted by a nasty scarf choke against Poklik in the last fight there. But before that, Skiro had, put together a decent run, 9-4 overall for the Wisconsin wrestler here. 6'1", beat Scotty Howe with the KO. The split decision with Logan Storley gave a lot of people, just a lot of confidence in Skiro. He was able to wrestle him in the fight, able to defend the wrestling well, gave the former welterweight champ all he could take there. Kenny Robertson put him away on the regional scene. That's a type of wins you like to see there. Lost to Jesse Urlian back in the day. No shame there. Just good striker, good wrestler. Neiman Gracie. My real question is, how does Neiman Gracie get this to the ground? Because he needs to kind of spam for the ground, but at 11-4, 34 years old, 2 straight losses coming into this, he hasn't really been that interested in the ground lately. He's been really pretty committed to the stand-up. Against Logan Storley, he lost the stand-up battle, so you would think that would immediately make him fully committed to the ground. But instead, against Yamauchi, he stood and traded and then got put away in the second round of that fight. Was supposed to face Lombardo coming into this fight. I, can't imagine that he's going to have an easy time in this matchup either, though, with Dante Skiro. Dante Skiro, obviously, the submission, it's going to be questioned there, but he was just in a really freak choke, which, sure, a Gracie could get, but Neiman Gracie is like throwing leg kicks all fight and doing that kind of game plan. I think Dante Skiro could take down Neiman and kind of control Neiman on the ground here. This, to me, I think is this or Burkhmanov. One of these two or both is the trap spot on the card here. Neiman Gracie's a minus 330 favorite. Nah, I can't trust that. Plus 220 on Skiro. Not great either. Dog or pass for me. Neiman by sub, but I don't trust it. And I probably won't even bet it here because I think Neiman could be really stupid. Try to, continue to show this stand-up game off that is not there. Skiro, a good wrestler himself, going to be tough to figure out how to get him to the ground. Maybe Skiro does it for him and exposes the neck, but we'll see. I think that this is a spot where a lot of people are going to see it, click Gracie, and move on. Minus 330, though. I don't like it, and it feels trappy to me. So proceed with caution. Neiman by sub is my pick, but not betting it, and dog or pass from a betting perspective. Let's just light a match because the grease fire continues here. Main card, they want 2 guys who are going to go in there, and I think what the kids say, bang. Sabah Hamasi taking on Brennan Ward here. These two are going to stand in the middle, trade until one goes down, probably in the first round here. Brennan Ward, 34, both guys 34 years old. Brennan Ward has come back. He's looked like he's looked good in the last 2. I'll give him that, man. Against Brandon Bell and Cassius Kane, though. Knocking them both out in the second round, early on in the second round of those. But Brandon Bell, not a good fighter, 10-10. Very clearly, it's set up fights for Brennan, but did what he needed to do. Now he's getting a legit guy in Sabah Hamasi, also on a 2-fight win streak after being counted out from those losses to Paul Daly, the clean knockout there, and Andrei Roschkov, which was not a knockout. Last 2 fights, quick finishes, though. Jaleel Willis finished him both that arm triangle real quick, took him down and subbed him up. And then against Mendanka, a really clean right hand to KO him. Interesting. Bo Jackson, you say Ward KO. I'll say Sabah Hamasi KO. So, it's a car accident coming, man. They put this on CBS and probably told both these guys, if you take this fight to the ground, fill in the blanks because this fight ain't going to the ground. I don't think it's getting out of the first round. Let's hope not. If it is, let's hope early second round. So, Bo, you got Ward KO? give me Saba KO. So you got the plus money here with Brennan Ward. Brennan Ward is a plus 120 underdog, minus 160 for Saba. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, say either side either side is safe here. Due to get chinned, yeah, maybe it's been a whole year. So because he hasn't been chinned in a year. Geez, that's rough, but fair enough. Should be a good fight there at 170 for however long it lasts. Hopefully, the shorter, the better. Moving on to the middleweight championship fight here. Diamond Hands, who's now called something else, I forgot. Johnny Eblen, he'll always be Diamond Hands to me. I love that nickname. Why would you change it? Taking on Anatoly Tokov, the better of the Tokov brothers here. Much more experience at 31-3 versus 12-0. So 3 times the fight experience here. 31-32 for these guys. Anatoly, made good on all 7 of his fights in Bellator. Has split decision with Sheriff Davlat Muradov, though, and I think that's a fight that you're going to circle here because I was really, considering the dog here in Anatoly. I think he's very well rounded, much better, on the feet, can take it to the ground, which I think would be interesting to see Eblen and how he responds to that. But he himself can be taken down, and I did not like how he looked on the ground. I did not like how he looked going into the 3rd round of that fight either. Came back against a very low level of opponent, Mohamed Abdullah, at 11-5 afterwards, which in the fight was 8 months later. And to me, it just kind of tells me where Tokov and his management and his team is behind his confidence. I mean, they're not scheduling high level of opponents. They're scheduling guys like Mohamed Abdullah. They're scheduling guys like Racho Derapinyan. He's getting dropped by guys like Gerald Harris. I got Burkhmanov confused with Gerald Harris earlier. That's who got dropped by Gerald Harris. So there's a lot to like with Tokov. There's more not to like with Tokov. And for me, Johnny Eblen, just steady as she goes, 12-0 now. Beat Musasi for 5 rounds. Just put together a perfect showing. So much more impressive than that first round showing would have been there. He does typically go to the decision, but puts away guys like Colin Huckbody and Madrid quickly, so I do like that. John Salter, another tough guy. They went to a decision with, no shame there. Dominated Travis Bam Bam Davis. I think he puts together good volume, good pace, gets more of an advantage as this fight goes. Tokov is live early, but I think Eblen's live as this goes. Johnny Eblen for me by decision. I'd love to see a finish in this fight later as well. Minus 175. I love the price on Johnny here. I do really like Tokov. I am very aware of how good he is, but I'm edging towards Johnny here, man. Gonna move on to the main event. There's 2 heavyweight fights. Duh. I wasn't thinking about the heavyweight main event for the title. Ryan Bader, Fedor 2. I'm going to keep this one short. Fedor has got to go out there and try to use the speed, catch him early. It's first round. Someone's going down in the first round probably. Bader's probably going to knock him out. I'd love to see Fedor do it. But, yeah, to me, I just don't really see it happening for Fedor here. Traveling to California, I don't love that. 40-6, 46 years old. Nevsky Camp obviously has a few guys on the card as well with Tokov and others. Last 2 wins, though, Quinn Jackson and Tim Johnson, both sub 3-minute wins. He hasn't won outside of the first round since he beat Fabio Maldonado in that fight. Other than that, first round finishes of Ishii, first round finish of Rizzo, first round finish of Singh. These guys, Monson, like who is he fighting? Henderson, Mitrione, Frank Mir, Chael Sonnen, and then he faces Ryan Bader, 35 seconds dusting. Ryan Bader's dusting him again here. I hate to say it. I'd love to see Fedor ride off into the sunset, but Fedor is just not fighting legit competition. He hasn't beat a guy under 40 in a while here. You're getting a gift at minus 250 on Ryan Bader. put him in all your parlays because he's gonna take this one. I really believe. So really quick, I'll go through. I'm sorry, there's not more to say about the main event, but it is what it is, guys. Let's be honest. 3-fight parlay coming for Zhongli, as well as the quick picks here to end the show. I want to thank everybody who's joined me, as well as everybody who has subscribed to the channel. We're approaching 725 subscribers, and I really appreciate it. Gonna have the UFC breakdown tomorrow with Lubetia and Just My 2 Cents, my boy, coming back tomorrow. He's going back to back with me, as well as Lubetia. We're going to be covering UFC South Korea from the Apex, so it should be a good one. But quick picks time. Ethan Hughes, Yusuf Karakaya. I got Ethan Hughes in this one with a late finish. I just think that Karakaya looks like he doesn't quite have the experience that I want, but maybe he's great. Want to know? We don't know. Hokit is going to put away Ishiguro with ground and pound there in that one. And Hokit is my first on the parlay. Jalen Bates, Jornel Lugo, my fight of the night. I love Jalen Bates, and I'm going to ride with him at plus 310 here. I think it could be a very close fight on the feet. Two very good prospects here. Give me Jalen Bates, plus 310. Darian Caldwell versus Nikita Mikhailov. I like Nikita Mikhailov. I think he puts it on him. Maybe drops the first round. A live bet situation could be here for Mikhailov. I think Mikhailov wins the fight by decision. Diana Avsaragova versus Alejandra Lara. I like Alejandra Lara. I think she's going to have the takedown defense needed against not a great wrestler here. And on the feet, I think she has the edge in volume, in speed, and just overall diversity in strikes. Grant Neal versus Carl Albertson, another really good fight, one of my favorites on the card. I like Grant Neal. I think that Grant Neal has good takedown defense, good strikes, and mixes it up. Dirty boxing, I think, will be a key here on this fight. Chris Gonzalez versus Max Roschkov here. I like Chris Gonzalez in this spot. I just think he's faced a much better level of competition. I think that the weight cuts are so rough for Max. I don't think that he is going to have the cardio pace needed, and I think Chris Gonzalez is a pretty bad matchup overall for him. So I do like him. Second piece of the parlay, Chris Gonzalez here. Next fight is the heavyweight fight between Ali Isaev and Steve Mowry. I personally don't think it's going to happen. Isaev could certainly beat him. I'll take Steve Mowry plus 115, but yeah, I don't think that fight's going to happen. Ahmed Magomedov versus Henry Corrales. I like Ahmed Magomedov here. I'm buying into the hype, man. He is the third piece of my parlay. Ahmed Magomedov takes this one. I think he submits Henry Corrales or controls the back for 15 minutes. Lorenz Larkin versus Muhammad Burkhmanov. Very hard names to say. I apologize. I want to pick Lorenz Larkin so bad, but I'm going to take Burkhmanov here. I think he just uses that IQ, grapples him up for 15 minutes. Dante Skiro versus Neiman Gracie. I think it's a really good fight. I think it's very close. I just don't trust Neiman Gracie that much. I'd love to take Skiro at plus 220. I'm not going to, but I am going to pick Neiman Gracie for the sub. But if Neiman doesn't get that sub quick, Dante Skiro can really steal this one, and plus 220 could be a real good price. Saba Hamasi, Brennan Ward, absolute car crash. Flip your coin. I got Saba Hamasi, but I get if you got Brennan Ward. Anatoly Tokov versus Johnny Eblen. Great fight here for the middleweight title. And I really, really do like Johnny Eblen, man, in this spot. I think Anatoly Tokov has takedown defense issues and gas issues, both of which Johnny Eblen can expose as the fight goes. So for a bonus, Zhang Li, if you want to do a 5-piece, put Johnny Eblen and Ryan Bader absolutely in every one of my parlays. Minus 250. He is absolutely knocking out Fedor, unfortunately. If Fedor wins, though, that'd be a great moment. And I'd be so happy, but except for the bets that I'm making. So Bader here, KO round 1. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. And that is going to do it for the Bellator 290 breakdown. I will be back tomorrow with Lubetia and just my 2 cents for a really good, if nothing else, really enjoyable breakdown. I get if you're not been this UFC this weekend heavy, I'm not myself, but still plenty to talk about. We'll dig through some props and everything. That will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. So about 24 hours from now. Myself, Lou Betcha, and just my 2 cents. But for today, there's the Flames. My boy, we'll see you tomorrow. But thank you, everybody, for joining me. Bellator better this week, straight up. Really good fights throughout this card. I just broke them down, solo, so a little bit shorter on some of the breakdowns, but hopefully got the information you needed. Let's cash these bets. I'm going to have more plays on Bellator than I will have on the UFC unless we dig through some plays tomorrow. So see you guys all in about 24 hours for the UFC Seoul breakdown show from the Apex. Keep taking care of each other out there, people. Peace out.